Hello YouTube, this is Rack Attack Gamer, otherwise known simply as Rack Attack. My channel's name is Rack Attack Gamer, but today is May 30th, 2018, and I'm sure that this video is probably relevant no matter when you are watching this in some fashion or another. So today I'd like to talk about guns and gun control, and let's go into it. There's always, during some type of an incident, there's this huge outcry, mostly by liberals, the left, for added measures of gun control, even to the point of the elimination of the Second Amendment, which, by the way, can't be eliminated. It's enumerated in the Constitution. The rights, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, are put there to tell the government what they can't mess with. They're not there to give us something. The rights are inherent. People have rights because of their from their creator, or from nature, or whatever else you want to call it, if you don't like the word creator for whatever reason. They are natural rights. They're not given by the government. You have them no matter what. So here's the problem. How do you take something away where you're not even supposed to touch? The government's not even supposed to touch the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. But instead of going to a big spiel about that, let's continue on. One of the things the other side of the gun debate likes to point out is that the United Kingdom had its problems with guns, and they eliminated the problem by highly restricting guns in the UK to the point where basically, I guess you can't get them. I don't even know what the exact laws are in the United Kingdom, but I know that they are highly regulated and limited, if you can even get them at all as a private person living in that country. Also, they like to point out Australia, the same type of thing there. Now, the similarities between both the UK and Australia are that the UK had some type of an incident, and Australia had some type of an incident, and maybe even a couple leading up to it, and they did away with guns. So as far as the UK goes, I believe it's in Scotland, the Dunblane Massacre. I wasn't really familiar with this before looking into this subject a little bit. But apparently in 1996, as you can read out, this is a Wikipedia article. 1996, somebody by the name of Thomas Hamilton shot up a school. 16 children and one teacher died before the guy killed himself. And then it was after this that talk about gun control crept into the UK, and apparently it was pushed forward and they got it, and now supposedly everything's wonderful in the UK, which I know it's not, but we'll continue on for now. No school shootings in the United Kingdom since handguns were banned. Now remember that. See, because people would think that that means that by banning handguns, there was no school shootings after that. So the banning of handguns therefore caused no shooting in the UK. That would be what most people would take from that. But that's not what I take from that. And we'll get into that in a little bit too. Let's go forward. Again, this is still talking about the Dunblane Massacre in Scotland. And you can see right here, there's more news articles about it. Widespread support of the ban of handguns. And in Australia, you had the Port Arthur Massacre, April 1996. Ain't that somewhat coincidental? That's both 96, isn't it? Let's go back. I just noticed that myself. Yeah. March, 1 month apart. March and April of 1996. Mass shooting, okay, with 35 people were killed, 23 wounded, Port Arthur. Well, I'm not going to read the rest of it. This is just a Wikipedia article. If you'd like to read it, just type it in for Wikipedia, and you could read the rest. But both of these things wound up having a gun control debate, and then implementation by the government to restrict guns very severely in both of these countries. So I didn't know. I just noticed that as I was going here. Both of them were 1 month apart. Boy, that just goes to what I'm thinking, and I'll get into that, I guess, in a minute. April 96 and March 96. Dunblane, March 96. April 96 for Port Arthur. All right, well, let's continue on. That's just something I noticed as I was going here. How Australia all but ended gun violence. Well, let's listen to this guy for a little bit since I have him here.
The 51,000 firearms that have been handed in as part of the National Firearms Amnesty. This has been a 3-month amnesty. It is an example of the way in which we are relentless in doing everything we can to keep Australians safe. You saw the agreement we had with the states and territories yesterday to strengthen our counter-terrorism laws, to ensure that Andrew and police around the nation have the tools, legislative, technological, to keep us safe. Now, safe. It's vital.
Gotta keep everybody safe. I'm not going to go any further with that, mostly because of copyright things. You can only show portions of stuff, so there's your portion. If you'd like to see the rest, you can put this title into a search engine. You can see the rest. How Australia all but ended gun violence. Okay. Now, between this one and this one, let's see, where's the other one? Yeah, no school shootings in the United Kingdom since handguns were banned. And how Australia all but ended gun violence. Well, you know what I call on this? I call bullshit. Let's find out why. Let's keep going. Let's see what this guy, he's from Australia. I just happened to run in. I'm just looking at quick research on this issue to bring it up. Let's see what he has to say.
Australia's gun control history seems to be a subject that is brushed under the carpet and unquestioned in Australian mainstream media. This year marks the 20-year anniversary of the infamous Port Arthur massacre, the sole reason for gun control in Australia. Martin Bryant, a 28-year-old man from Tasmania, murdered 35 people in a lone killing spree. Port Arthur paved the way for the draconian mandatory gun confiscation of Australia, where 650,000 legally owned firearms were turned over to the government through the Compensation for Confiscation Plan. In recent years, there has been an unprecedented amount of mass shootings around the world. It seems after each shooting, there is a hysteria about blaming gun culture and gun ownership rather than blaming the shooter. Why do we need guns? Why do we need automatic killing machines? What are you so afraid of? The question then boils down to, has gun control in Australia worked? The answer is a big no.
Now, give statistics and it goes forward, and you can go and watch this video. Like I said, I don't like to give too much because you can only take portions of a video. Otherwise, you run into copyright issues. So, the title of his video is The Truth About Gun Control in Australia. And the name of the channel is called Zero Filter. So, if you'd like to watch the rest of the video, which is 10 minutes and 2 seconds long, you could type that in and find it and watch the rest of it. Let's continue on. He's saying that, well, you heard what he said, but basically that it's not helping different types of crimes in Australia. So let's continue on. All right, so now we're going to get into what I'm thinking about, where I go with things, mind control. Now you're going to say, oh, mind control, oh my God. Well, that's tough crap that you don't know about this stuff, so I'm going to teach you a little bit. And we're going to get into it, if you have the guts enough to continue watching. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of this video. This video is called The Century of the Self. You can find it on YouTube. And I'm going to play a good, I don't know, 6 minutes of it. So sit back and let's listen to a little bit of this video. And you can see where I'm going with this mind control.
Bernays set out to experiment with the...
Edward Bernays he's talking about. Edward Bernays was Sigmund Freud's nephew, and he himself was a psychoanalyst, I believe, or psychologist, something like that. And he's going to say what he set out to do. So let's continue.
The minds of the popular classes.
Mind control.
His most
classes.
dramatic experiment was to persuade women to smoke. At that time, there was a taboo against women smoking, and one of his early clients, George Hill, the president of the American Tobacco Corporation, asked Bernays to find a way of breaking it.
He said, we're losing half of our market.
I'm going to speed this video up.
Men have invoked a taboo against women smoking in public. Can you do anything about that? I said, let me think about it. And then I said, have I your permission to see a psychoanalyst to find out what cigarettes mean to women? He said, what'll it cost? So I called up Dr. Brill, A.A. Brill, who was a leading psychoanalyst in New York at that time.
How come you didn't call your uncle? Why didn't you call your uncle?
Because he was in Vienna.
A.A. Brill was one of the first psychoanalysts in America, and for a large fee, he told Bernays that cigarettes were a symbol of the penis and of male sexual power. He told Bernays that if he could find a way to connect cigarettes with the idea of challenging male power, then women would smoke, because then they would have their own penises. Every year, New York held an Easter Day parade to which thousands came, and Bernays decided to stage an event there. He persuaded a group of rich debutantes to hide cigarettes under their clothes. Then they should join the parade, and at a given signal from him, they were to light up the cigarettes dramatically. Bernays then informed the press that he had heard that a group of suffragettes were preparing to protest by lighting up what they called torches of freedom.
He knew this would be an outcry, and he knew that all of the photographers would be there to capture this moment. And so he was ready with a phrase, which was torches of freedom. And so here you have a symbol, women, young women, debutantes, smoking a cigarette in public with a phrase that means anybody who believes in this kind of equality pretty much has to support them in the ensuing debate about this, because torches of freedom. I mean, what's on all American coins? It's liberty. She's holding up the torch, you see? And so all of this is there together. There's emotion, there's memory, there's a rational phrase, even though it's using a lot of emotional elements. It's a phrase that works in a rational sense. All of this is together. And so the next day, this was not just in all of the New York papers, it was across the United States and around the world. And from that point forward, the sale of cigarettes to women began to rise. He had made them socially acceptable with a single symbolic act.
All right. So, even though I played this in one of my previous videos, I wanted to play it again so that people could understand how the powers that be, the system, could control people's minds. So to summarize briefly is that women didn't smoke. There was a taboo against it. The psychiatrist, Edward Bernays, said, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I could change this. And through manipulation, which is basically, this is mind control. This is a form of propaganda type of mind control, where he had young, beautiful women come out and smoke and come with a phrase, and then he had all the newspapers all set up, ready to report on it. So he staged the whole thing basically, and they lit up and they smoked, and it was all in the papers, and then it went not only throughout America but basically around the world, where at one point in time women were not smoking, and then through his manipulation, mind control, propaganda manipulation, then women began to smoke all across the world. But that's not the only part of mind control. Let's go into another video about mind control type situation. Let's watch this video. This is with Alex Jones interviews Aaron Russo, full length. That's the name of the video. You can look it up. It's on YouTube, and let's listen to a little bit of it.
Well, one of the things they told me was that he was at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said,
now, who he's talking about is, I believe it's David Rockefeller, and Aaron Russo was speaking with him. He was able to speak with him. I guess they knew each other somehow. And now, David Rockefeller, being an in-person, very rich in what I would call the New World Order, then reveals something to Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo, you can look him up. He was a producer of films. He did a famous movie called Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. He produced, Freedom to Fascism, which is a documentary about taxes and government control and so forth. And that's also available on YouTube. But we'll continue on with this one now. So let's hear, he laughed at Aaron Russo, and now he's going to tell him why he laughed at him.
And what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He says, there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before Women's Lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for Women's Lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble adventure.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded Miss Magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're going to...
CIA funded Miss Magazine?
Funded Miss Magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No.
All right, well, that's the portion I wanted to show you. So you think something's noble. Yet there's this behind the scenes they, in quotes, the word they in quotes, that control things, that manipulate things, that intentionally manipulate things. They get psychiatrists like Edward Bernays, or they use their financial influence like the Rockefellers, or, for instance, like the CIA, like Alex Jones just said to Aaron Russo about Miss Magazine was funded by the CIA for a stated goal of, well, you heard the rest. If you want to hear it again, rewind, play it back, you can listen to it again. But I'm telling you, in your little happy-go-lucky world, if this is the world that you think exists, it's not that way. There are people trying every day to manipulate you, not only through commercials on TV, but through the programs on TV themselves. In every way, they are trying to control your mind. It is constant. It is everywhere. I think there's a movie out called They or something like that. You might want to watch that movie also. I think it's They. It's about a guy who has an awakening to the New World Order and the mind control and the manipulation. And when he puts on special sunglasses, it's I forget his name, but you could look that up. It's something with they in it. And if you see him wearing sunglasses, and then you know that's the movie. But this is what I would call the New World Order. You can call it the Deep State. You can call it, there's various different names about it, but I'll stick with New World Order. And I have a video out on it. Please watch that video if you want to learn more about the New World Order. Matter of fact, I highly encourage it because you need to know about the New World Order. They're manipulating you. Let's continue on. And there's other reasons you need to know about them too. Let's see what else we got. Let's watch a little bit of this video. It's back to the Century of the Self, and it's just a continuation of this whole idea of mind control. Let's watch a little bit of it.
Eddie Bernays saw the way to sell product was not to sell it to your intellect, that you ought to buy an automobile, but that you will feel better about it if you have this automobile. I think he originated that idea, that they weren't just purchasing something, but they were engaging themselves, emotionally or personally, in the product or service. That it's not, you think you need a new piece of clothing, but you'll feel better with the piece of clothing. That was his contribution in a very real sense. We see it all over the place today, but I think he originated the idea of the emotional connect to a product or service.
All right. So what they're saying is that they took away the advertising plans of selling towards a need And instead of fulfilling just the need and giving information, they used mind control to manipulate the emotions to sell towards feelings, towards desires and hidden feelings within people. Remember what he said, because this other person happens to mention that. And amazingly, it's about guns. Let's listen to what Eric Holder has to say about guns.
This informational campaign, I've also called on the newspapers and the television stations to devote to us time and space so that we can get these ads, so we can use these spots, and not to give us 1, 2 o'clock in the morning ads when nobody's watching, but at the time when people, particularly young people, are watching television, so that when they're watching, you know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Martin or whatever else they watch, and yeah, I watch those things once in a while, so that they'll see these ads and they'll be grabbed by these ads. I've also asked people who have influence over youngsters, entertainers, athletes, to be involved in this program as well. But not only them, community leaders, Jesse Jackson, Mayor Barry, people who have credibility with young people should be on the television, on the radio, as much as we possibly can, and telling these youngsters that it's wrong to carry a gun, and that if you have information about people who are carrying guns, you've got to share that with Chief Thomas and with his people as well. I've also asked the school board to make a part of every day some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message. Every day, every school, at every level. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
So, what were you thinking way back when I started about mind control? When I started thinking about mind control and talking about it, you were saying, nah, right, to yourself? Well, what did this guy just got done saying, huh? Do you know who Eric Holder is currently? All right, let's continue on.
Wash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. We also want to have a hotline that we...
Yeah, I should have went back to the brainwash thing. Let's go back to that brainwash.
Do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Now this video is called Eric Holder, We Must Brainwash People Against Guns, 1995. So if you'd like to listen to the whole thing, which is 3 minutes and 29 seconds long, you can find that video and listen to the whole thing. I've been telling you that they've been manipulating, the fancy they. They've been manipulating us, especially when it comes to guns. There's even a deeper way they can manipulate, and that would be through MK Ultra. Made me do it. Mind control with a nice Illuminati, all-seeing eye in the center. Let's watch something about MK Ultra. And this video is called CIA, MK Ultra, Manchurian Candidates, Controlled Assassins. Let's listen a little bit here to a first-hand story.
For the first time, an alleged brainwashed CIA assassin has agreed to tell the world what she says are her terrible secrets, her incredible double life. This is her story.
It started when I was a very young child. My father was an assassin. He also was involved in programming children through torture, through mind control, hypnosis, and other means. He was wanting to use me as a guinea pig to show his associates, particularly at the CIA, what he could do with one child. So I started being trained how to kill when I was 4 years old. It was back probably starting in the very early 70s, if not earlier. It ended somewhere around 1990. There was over 76 deaths. One time, they had me go in as a prostitute, and while the man was in bed, all I had to do was take a scarf that they had already given me to wear and dip it in a toilet. Somehow the water activated the chemical on the scarf, and then I just laid it on the man's face, and he died.
Here comes a candle to light you to bed, and here comes a chopper to chop off your head, the last man's head.
I had what were called Naomi programs that were taught how to dip a pin in like Vaseline that had a chemical on top of the Vaseline in the container and then just scratch somebody with it. Guns were so familiar to me, although I was never allowed to have a gun at home. I now have one, and I know how to use it, and I found out the first time I tried to use it, I'm a very good shot without any supposed training.
She admitted to us that she'd suffered from multiple personalities, which she says was induced deliberately in her programming. In the early 1950s, the CIA director Alan Dulles oversaw a program allegedly to develop brainwashed assassins, codenamed MK-Ultra. Many observers say it was the CIA's biggest secret until a maverick government officer, John Marks, using some newly released documents, exposed the project to the American public with his book, The Search for the Manchurian Candidate.
In the late 1940s, there was a tremendous concern inside the CIA and the U.S. government about the possibilities of mind control, of brainwashing, if you will. There had been a Hungarian cardinal who had stood up at a show trial in Budapest and seemed to be talking robot-like in a kind of a controlled sort of way. And there was a sense, there was a feeling, there was a fear that there was a technology available which allowed people to brainwash people to commit acts against their will.
Now, the entire purpose of MK-Ultra was the creation of what they called a Manchurian Candidate, which was a person who could be used to commit an assassination and then made to forget about it afterwards.
Okay, did you hear that? The creation of a Manchurian Candidate used to commit an assassination and then not know anything about it afterwards. So what kind of manipulations are we talking about here? What kind of manipulation of the people are we talking about here? Let's look at another little clip. This is a clip from a movie, a regular movie, Hollywood movie with Denzel Washington. Let's watch a little bit of this clip, and I'll tie this all up when we get to the point where I want to tie it all up.
Captain Marco, stand up.
He's mind-controlled, MK-Ultra.
Yes, sir. There's a gun on the cupboard. Would you please take it and give it to Captain Marco?
They all
Yes,
are,
sir.
in the brown shirts.
Yeah. Captain.
Oh!
Captain Marco, please shoot Private Ingram.
Don't worry, it's only a movie.
Suffocate Private Baker. Kill him.
And he goes right on eating his noodles. And then this guy goes ahead and suffocates this guy, all under mind control, not knowing what the heck they're doing, not remembering it afterwards.
Keep going, Raymond.
And we're not going to get into any further of it. But you can watch that movie. It's a good movie. It's called The Manchurian Candidate. And you've just heard that the Manchurian Candidate type stuff is real from the previous video. Let's continue on. Illuminati mind control suspects. Let's see what this video has. Oh, who's that? Now, does he look like he's with it? Look at that stare. Is he with it? What's up with that?
Reflecting a policy
And
of
then they go on to
genocide,
another
either
one.
against the
You can
Tibetan
watch this
people.
also, but I wanted to show you that one briefly. There's something weird with that one. It's a longer video too, by the way. So, are you a full libtard? No, don't ever go full libtard. Don't ever say that we need to do away with guns until you start learning what you're getting into. Hey, libtard, why don't you shut up and make me a taco? All right, so now we get into the New World Order, which basically we've been into it. And I told you I have another video. You go watch that too. The New World Order is the ones that are doing things. Now, we looked at two different kinds of mind control. The MK-Ultra kind and the regular kind, if you want to call it that, from propaganda, where the MK-Ultra goes a more direct approach using drugs or some type of trauma to then induce the mind control into the subject. The manipulation of society can happen through the regular, television programs and stuff like that, just by putting out stuff that people will eat up. They'll eat it up. And whatever the talking points are on your favorite television program, on your favorite news program. And they will, as Holder says, basically push it so hard, so much, in so many ways that they'll basically brainwash people. The other way, again, is the MK Ultra way, where they actually take individuals and do both drugs and trauma-based mind control techniques and get them to be mind-controlled people. So, let's see what else this footage has. I'm forgetting myself what I have set up here. Let's watch.
Once I realized I had met an honest, genuine, high-level Freemason who told me there were 13 levels
Benjamin
of Freemason above the 33rd degree, and that these people were God. There was no God, they were God. So I asked them about their plans to kill people, and they said, yes, there are too many people on the planet. We need to get rid of several billion. And war doesn't seem to work, so we're going to use disease and starvation.
So, Benjamin Fulford, he was speaking. He seems to be an in-type person with this type stuff. He could be a little bit out there as far as I'm concerned, but somehow he knows stuff. And he was talking to people who told him that they need to kill, again, the New World Order needs to kill several billion people. Well, the Earth has 7.5 billion people in it, roughly. And in order to kill what they want killed down to 500 million, they would have to kill 7 billion people. So it's not whatever he said, 4 or 5 billion. It's actually much more closer to 7 billion. This is a simple Google search about the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones are also in a previous video of mine under the New World Order, about the New World Order. And what they are is a monument set up in Georgia by a mysterious person by the name of R.C. Christian, I believe his name was. And on the monument, in several different languages, they have something akin to the Ten Commandments. And which one of them states, and we'll go into it here, the Georgia Guidestones Wikipedia article if you'd like to look it up yourself. The very first quote-unquote commandment states, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Well, in order to get to 500 million, you got to kill 7 billion. So you have a nefarious forces trying to mind control people, to sway them to get their minds and their thoughts and their actions to conform with whatever they want. This New World Order. In other words, they're manipulating people, regular people, to say that, oh, we don't want guns. Take our guns. Go ahead, take them. And why would they do that? Well, they want to kill 7 billion people. They don't want you having guns. They don't want you having guns to stop them. Schmucks. All right, let's continue on. Alex Jones has been warning about the New World Order for 2 decades now. And people make fun of Alex Jones. Oh, he's just a conspirator. Baloney. He knows what he's talking about. Go watch my New World Order video. Let's see what Alex Jones has to say about guns to an interview he did with Piers Morgan back in, was it 2013, looks like? Let's listen.
The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns. My family in the Texas Revolution against Santa Anna, my family was at the core on both sides starting that because Santa Anna came to take the guns at Gonzales, Texas. Pierce, don't try what your ancestors did before. Why don't you come to America? I'll take you out shooting. You can become an American and join the Republic.
All right. So he told Morgan, isn't it? Off. And he said, Mao took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Well, let's see what he's talking about. Innocence Betrayed, a history of gun confiscation. I'm not going to play any specific part of this film, except for maybe the beginning, because the film is very graphic. However, I recommend you watch it. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Weapon-free zone in schools.
What happens when self-defense is against the law? What happens when the protectors become the predators? What happens when innocents are betrayed?
I'm going to stop it there. The film is very graphic, but it goes on time and time again. It shows you where guns were taken and the civilian population. The guns were taken by the government and the civilian population were somehow killed by their own governments. Let's see what that entails and what it's called. Well, there's a word. It's called democide, murder by government. And there's statistics. This is a University of Hawaii study, or at least it's on the University of Hawaii website. Let's put it that way. Hawaii.edu, edu. Power kills, murder HTM. You can just if you want to find this exact page, just look up this word, democide, murder by government, and it would be probably one of the top ones there, if not the top one, and you'll see that it's coming from hawaii.edu. So democide, murder by government is the search that you would do to get to this page. They have a graphic on this page here. Let's see if I can zoom in. I don't know if the graphic will zoom. Yes, it will. Good. Let's see if I could move this graphic over. No, I can't. So let's just take a look. Selected pre-20th century democide and totals. And they start way back in BC times, and they go for all the way up until almost the 20th century. And the numbers are in thousands. So therefore, this is not 33,000. This is 33 million in China, and then it gives you the years. Well, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. What I'm interested mostly in is the hypothetical total of 625 million were killed by their own government after having some type of a disarmament type thing, or the people were just simply not armed in the first place. I'm not sure. You can go look up, research this, all these different places on your own and find out what happened to them specifically. But 625 million pre-20th century democide totals. Let's go to the next page, which is the 20th century democide totals. And they have a graphic. And that is 20th century more crises. I don't know. You can figure out that word. I never saw it before. Anyway, let's continue. Democide level. And again, it's in the thousands. China, 76 million. USSR, 61 million. Colonialism, 50 million. Germany, 20 million. China, 10 million. This is 20th century. Japan, 5 million. China, 3. Cambodia, 2. Turkey, 1. Poland, Yugoslavia, mega murders. North Korea, 1.6 million. Mexico, 1.4. Well, that's anyway. Go down to the totals. Again, if you want to find this particular page, it's on the same website as the other one. It's 20th century democide. And by the way, there's links up on top that will allow you to switch between both. So the total on this is 262 million worldwide total from 1900 to 1999. Now, the numeric total from both of them would be about 885 million. We're approaching a billion people. A billion people. Let me say that again. A billion people killed by their own governments. Yet, when I hear of these mass shootings, they're horrible. They're terrible. It's sad. It's a bad thing. Maybe things can be done. Maybe things can be done. However, to take away the guns, no. Don't give up your guns, or else you're going to be within these numbers. That's nearly a billion people. 885 million people that I counted were killed by their governments from the beginning of time until now, well, 20th century. And people are talking about giving up their weapons. It's madness. You know, I'm very sorry that maybe 50 were killed in Las Vegas and 17 were killed here. And you know, these are very tragic numbers. Shouldn't be one. There shouldn't even be one person harmed in any way by guns. I wish the world was a kumbaya type world where we can all sing kumbaya together and everything be wonderful, but it's not. So stop being an idiot saying, take my guns, please, and make me a victim of my own government or any other invader for that matter. All right. Mind Control, America's Secret War, HQ full is this video. Let's watch a little bit of it. I'm sure I have it here for some reason. I don't remember which.
With the outbreak of the Korean War, the U.S. feels more than justified when new revelations surface about Soviet and Chinese mind control. Captured U.S. pilots confess to committing germ warfare. The American public is told that the confessions are false and were extracted by a Soviet mind control technique.
All right, so we're saying that the Soviets mind control, I should have had this in a little bit further up, showing that basically the whole world is pursuing mind control techniques, not just the United States or the CIA or whatever. But don't forget, I'm saying that there's two different types. One that manipulates the people en masse, and two that specifically targets an individual that maybe, how do I know, how do you know who are going out and killing these people from these school shootings or anywhere else? Las Vegas. How do we know whether or not these people were not taken into some type of program and had some type of MK Ultra manipulation where they commit some type of atrocity, shooting, and then don't remember anything about it afterwards? How do we know whether or not these people were programmed to do this stuff by the New World Order to get our guns, which is their stated goal? They want to kill billions of people. They don't want these people fighting back. What's the matter with all you people? Go look this stuff up. Especially the people that are wanting gun control. You guys are nuts. Don't be idiots. Don't be sheep. Wake up. All right. I got a video out there. It's called The New World Order. The New World Order exists. Wake the bleep up. You can watch this video, learn a little bit more about the New World Order. It's a little bit repetitive because it does have the Edward Bernays stuff in it. And it has a little bit of Georgia Guidestones in it. But you need to know this stuff. Next. There's another video that shows you something called the diamond system, which is a various kind of a mind control technique that targets crowds. And that crowd could be a crowded room, or it could be a city, a country. Now with social media, it's very easy to control large groups of people. And it says so in this particular video of mine, the diamond system video. So, do me a favor, subscribe, like, and all that other stuff for this particular video. And then if you are liberal and you think gun control is a good idea and you want to somehow disarm yourself because of the mind control that's been done to you, not that kind, that kind, the Edward Bernays kind. How do we know that the New World Order hasn't done the MK Ultra manipulation of individuals to have them go shoot things up, so that could be a public outcry, the mind control of the public then, to have guns stripped from people, because it's their goal. The goal is to get rid of the guns. The New World Order does not want us to have guns. So don't be a full libtard. Nope, nope, nope. Better start learning about the New World Order. Better start learning about how things work in the world. And not your little kumbaya worlds where gun control is the answer. It's not the answer. Don't be a schmuck. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you. Control. All right, bye.